In the hockey world, players come from pretty much everywhere. Obviously, you got your big dogs in Canada, the United States, Sweden, Finland, Russia, but you have countries like Slovakia, Team Switzerland, and even Norway getting their much-deserved representation in the National Hockey League. But there's a lot of prospects from a wide array of countries that aren't just looking to make an impact at the pro level, but are looking to make an impact at the NHL level as well. And today, we are going to be ranking the best NHL prospect from each and every single country in the hockey landscape. So, if you don't know already, my name is Nathan. If you enjoy content just like this one and are craving some more hockey content in your life, hit that subscribe button and watch till the end for all our rankings and all the best prospects in the NHL. Now, I forgot to mention it in the last video, but yes, I do have a new microphone, and it is absolutely beautiful, so hopefully you're hearing my crisp voice in some good high-definition 4K. But we're going to go through the best prospects for every single country, or the best prospect for some of these teams as well. And even though I got the Team USA jersey rocking on right now, we're going to start out today with the best prospect from Germany, and we're going to work our way down from multiple countries. So I'll have the timestamps in the description down below as well. But the best prospect from Team Germany, there really is only two options in my opinion. Yeah, Lukas Reichel and JJ Peterka are pretty great too, but it's between Moritz Seider and Tim Stutzle. And for me personally, I do give the edge to Tim Stutzle. I'm a huge fan of Moritz Seider though. Don't get me wrong, he's going to be an absolute beast for the Detroit Red Wings in both sides of the ice. But Tim Stutzle, I think, has the most potential to be a fantastic first-line pairing guy with a guy like Leon Draisaitl. I think he's most likely a winger for the Ottawa Senators, but he could be a center if everything goes right. But that's a player that just has such fantastic speed, such fantastic skating, and great puck handling too. I think he will be a fantastic NHL player, a first-line guy for the Sens, and will be a bona fide offensive threat every time he steps onto the ice. And next up, we're going to be taking a look at the best prospect from Finland in 2020, and you could say Aatu Raty at this spot, and I could see that, but to me, Anton Lundell is going to be my choice here. There's one team in particular where I kind of cheat a little bit and go with a 2022 prospect, but for at least the big nations like Finland at least, I'll be limiting it to players that have been drafted thus far, and Anton Lundell is easily the best option out there. To me, Lundell brings a bunch in what I want as a hockey player. Seriously, extremely fun as a player. Doesn't have too much high-end skill, but he's been making a lot better of his chances in the Liiga thus far too. Has looked a lot better speed-wise as well this year, and the defense, the hockey IQ that he has, I've gushed about it a ton of times on this channel already, but I'll just say, the Florida Panthers are in for one heck of a hockey player, and having Alexander Barkov as a mentor, I mean, that's pretty much as perfect as you get for a guy like Lundell, and I think he'll fit right at home on that Florida Panthers forward group. And now we get into Team Canada's best prospect, and we could mention the first overall pick that was, just drafted in this 2020 draft, and that would be the too easy answer, but I'm still going to include him, and I'm still going to have him as the pick. Of course, New York Rangers' own Alexis Lafreniere. Now, if we're talking about future prospects, I mean, Owen Power looks pretty good in 2021, especially in 2022. Shane Wright looks absolutely unbelievable, but once again, we're only going on drafted players, and Alexis Lafreniere is really the only choice. I mean, you have quite a few great players from the 2019 draft, but Alexis Lafreniere is the guy. If it wasn't him, it would be Quinton Byfield 100%, but Lafreniere just brings so much you want in a complete hockey forward, and even on the wing, he's going to be an absolute dominant player in pretty much all areas of the ice. He's that competitive, he's that amazing already, and I think he's a player that he'll probably be either number one or number two in the Calder race. To me, it's between him and Kirill Kaprizov, who we might mention later on. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, between those two guys, I think they're both going to be fantastic. But Alexis Lafreniere honestly might have the best chance at getting that Calder trophy and getting the opportunity on the New York Rangers to be the true self and to be the beast he can be. And now we're going to go to an even bigger powerhouse in hockey countries. Move along, Canada, because Team Austria is here to stay. And of course, for the best prospect on Austria, it is Minnesota Wild draftee in Marco Rossi. I mean, Again, it's jokes, but there's really nobody else besides Marco Rossi on Team Austria. They have a couple of decent players, but it's Marco Rossi's team to absolutely dominate on, especially in this upcoming World Juniors. To me, Marco Rossi, though, is such a steal for where Minnesota got him at. I think they got him at number 9, if I remember correctly, which was magnificent. To me, Marco Rossi, even though he's more on the undersized side of things, he still, I think, can be a center at the next level. His overall offensive awareness is insane. His passing ability is sublime. His shot is fantastic. But overall, just his offensive creativity is really what makes me excited for Marco Rossi. I think he's going to be a first-line center in the NHL someday, and will be a guy that also will improve on that skating quite a bit, at least in terms of the top-end speed. But Marco Rossi is going to be an absolute beast, and in my opinion, will likely be the best Austrian player ever. I mean, the only real competition he has is Thomas Vanek, and Vanek was fantastic in his prime, but I think Marco Rossi is going to be a much better overall player and a less one-dimensional guy at the same time, while also being a center and also just being Marco freaking Rossi. And we're now going to go on to the Czech Republic, and there's a couple of options here for me personally, between Filip Zadina and I would say Jan Mysak, but it just depends on if you see Filip Zadina as a prospect still. For me personally, he's pretty much just on the prospect threshold. He, I think, has played 37 NHL games up to this point. My threshold is 50 games played, and I think he's pretty much graduated, but for the sake of this video, I'm still going to consider him a prospect. But the point still stands. Zadina is an absolutely electric winger when he's at his best. In his stay with Detroit last season was actually pretty great. Got some great opportunities, but I think that's a player that definitely looked a lot more at home in the NHL than I kind of expected with how he was playing in the AHL. I think Zadina is a guy, though, that going into next season should be on a full-time spot with Detroit, or at least I'm hoping so, because he's a player that hopefully with a full season in the NHL can make some pretty good progress. And I think Zadina is a guy that at his peak could be a fantastic goal scorer, just a great overall offensive mind, kind of like a Marco Rossi a little bit. But to me, I think Zadina is more on the goal scoring side of things. I'm not sure if he'll be as good as a Marco Rossi, but I think Zadina is going to be fantastic for Detroit. And it's just a matter of time before he slots into that top 6, slots into that first power play, and just rides with guys like Anthony Mantha and Dylan Larkin. It's just going to happen, and we're just going to have to face it. Going on to Team USA, I'm going to mention them next. There's quite a few fantastic options, and to me, it's almost a three-way tie between the player I'll mention, Cole Caulfield, and Alex Turcotte. But to me right now, the best USA prospect is Trevor Zegras. To me, Zegras just is so fantastic, and I always love him. As a Boston University fan, I'm obviously biased here, but Trevor Zegras is just amazing in so many ways. His playmaking ability in terms of prospects right now might be one of the best, if not the best, if a guy like Alexis Lafreniere weren't here. He is such a fantastic pass-first guy, but his shot is also fantastic too when he needs to get there. But the combination of his brilliant skating, his brilliant offensive awareness, really lends himself, in my opinion, to become a first-line player. I'm not sure if he'll be a center at the next level, but I think he'll be a first-line forward. I think that's a guy that will drive play exceedingly well. He's done that in the NCAA. He's done that in the World Juniors. And although he might need some time, I think that's a player that at his peak will be fantastic for Anaheim and will definitely be a big-time contender on future Team USA teams as well. Going on to Team Switzerland, though, I mean, Switzerland is the best nation I'll mention today. We all know this. I'm going to go to one of my favorite prospects in the NHL in Philipp Kurashev. Kurashev was a Blackhawks draftee back in 2017, I believe. And ever since his draft year, I'm pretty excited for what Kurashev can bring. So far, he's playing in the NLA this year, but this is a guy that last year looked pretty decent in the AHL for Rockford. Is 21 years of age, still pretty young. I mean, Kurashev has a lot to bring for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's pretty crafty, pretty shifty, but has some low-key skill. But I think that's a player that has a pretty good combination of offensive tools. And I think in the next level could be an NHL player. I think he can be an NHL player, probably more of like a third line. Maybe you get some power play time type of player, but a great player for the Chicago Blackhawks to have going forward, and definitely, in my opinion, one of the more diverse prospects they have. Going on to Team Sweden, though, and there is obviously some pretty fantastic options here, but to me, the guy that absolutely leads the race is Lucas Raymond. Obviously, the Detroit Red Wings prospect draftee, 4th overall in this past 2020 draft. Lucas Raymond has been as good as advertised and more in the SHL this season. He's just been absolutely brilliant. I think this is a player that's really learning from last year where he got basically no time on ice. He's now really earning that this year, and I think you'll see it in the play. To me, Lucas Raymond is just a fantastic overall offensive player, a guy that really does everything, but also does the little things too. One of the biggest things I notice with Lucas Raymond almost every single game is the anticipation he has. He can anticipate like 5 plays ahead of time, and it's just bang, bang, bang. It's like he processes it like a supercomputer. He's an absolute beast, and I think this is a player that, like Zdeno, like Mantha on the wings for Detroit, will be a great player to have going into the future, and in this rebuild is, in my opinion, their best prospect. Then going on to Slovakia and another elite hockey program here. This is the one nation that I will cheat a little bit here and pick a prospect in the future. Now, some people don't realize with Slovakia how good their future kind of looks right now. Not because of the last couple of drafts, but 2022 will be a really interesting one to watch because of Simon Nemec. Now, Nemec is a super fascinating player, has 4 points in the main Slovakia league as a 16-year-old, and I think doesn't even turn 17 until next February or something. He is looking very good, and I haven't been able to watch too much of him because he plays in Slovakia, but he's a player that I think will definitely go pretty high in the 2022 draft. Right now, honestly, could be at least a top 10 pick, could even reach for that top 5. From what I've seen, just a great overall defenseman that can really do a lot of the little things right, and when you're in the main Slovakia league as a 16-year-old, that's pretty much all you want. Now, I do also want to mention Juraj Slafkovský, who's also in the 2022 draft and is also Slovakian born. He's another prospect that could go in that top 10. Has been pretty good in the U20 Liiga as well this year and could push for a spot like that. Personally, I have him in my top 10 as well. So 2 great Slovakian prospects for the 2022 draft to look out for. So you're going to thank Uncle Grav for getting you right there. Because, man, they're looking pretty good for 2022. The rest of the years, not really. But for 2022, get excited. And then we're going to go on to the final Hockey Nation to report on today in Team Russia. And, I mean, you guys know what I'm going to go for here. My boy and Kirill Kaprizov. But I just want to mention just how good the honorable mentions are. Guys like Vasily Podkolzin, Yaroslav Askarov, and if we're going in the future, I mean, in 2023... oh my gosh, I just I just don't know how the heck Matvei Michkov, how good he is already at such a young age in the MHL. He has just been doing absolutely crazy things, and he'll be eligible for the 2023 draft, so we're looking ahead quite a bit there, but he's been doing a lot at such a young age too. So I think Russia is looking all right, even though they haven't, or I don't think they're going to be looking as good as they have in the past decade or so. This is still a team that can have some pretty great young players, especially on the forward side of things as always, and Kirill Kaprizov to me is the leader of that. To me, he'll be in the Calder race absolutely going into next year for the Minnesota Wild. I think he'll get a top 6 spot to start and will work his way to the first line, but especially on that power play will make absolute mincemeat of other teams. But that's a player that just has all the tools offensively, every single one. Solid skater, insane shot, great playmaking abilities, especially in tight. And I think that's a player that will translate pretty well going in the NHL, unlike some other KHL players we've seen. Kirill Kaprizov is the absolute man and is the real deal for not just Minnesota, but the NHL in general. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown and enjoyed these rankings, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell as well. But comment down below what you agree and disagree with. And also let me know who do you think are the best NHL prospects from every single country. I don't know. Let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if you enjoyed this mic as well. Hopefully you did. My name is Nathan. Make sure you share this video with your friends. Get it out there and click on this card for all my hockey prospects content right on one playlist. My name is Nathan. Thanks so much for watching and spending your day with me. Absolutely appreciate it. Hopefully having a good one, a good day, and a good week as well. And I'll see you in the next video or stream. Goodbye.